All right. Welcome back. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Whatever it is in your part of the world. I took some time to recharge my batteries. Sometimes I have to do that. But I'm A-OK now. Hope you are as well. Already, I'm at number 18. Random Dog Nuttery 18. I'm very satisfied and thankful for the attention of these series, basically news series. Because when you keep up with Dog Nuttery, it's truly amazing and unbelievable and irresistible for anybody who enjoys good news, which makes you wonder why mainstream does not have its own anti-dog sector. It's very much needed, and that is where we come in. But expect sometime in the future for some mainstream outlet to piggyback off of our movement. Right? Yusuf in the building. Good morning. ABQ, Ashar, Matthew. We hate dogs in the building. Luis. All right. And happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the real mothers out there. Not the dog moms. Thank you. Girls can be drummers. Reminded to watch out. It's Mother's Day. Just another excuse for dog moms to take over the holiday and wreak havoc on the unsuspecting public. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. Happy Mother's Day to all the real bona fide mothers. I shouldn't say real, to all the mothers. Because if you claim to be a dog mom and all you have is dogs, you're not a mother yet. That's just the way that is. And the nuttery never ends. Mudslayer in the building. Yoko in the building. Let's get into some random dog nuttery. This is going to be very random. I'm going to deal with some weird stuff, as I do from time to time with this dog nut culture. All of it is weird, to be honest. But people, I have thought this for a long time, but I've never actually talked about it. These people, these dog lovers, this is not real love. And these people are pretending to love dogs. That's just the way that is. Humans were made with design in a unique way. Only we can feel love. And our love is generated, is harnessed by how we connect with other human beings. We connect with other human beings in ways that wild animals, especially mutant like dogs, can't. One of the major ways we communicate to strengthen love is communication. Language. The use of language is crucial. If you're talking about love, it's crucial. The love for anyone grows when you communicate. The bond with your children strengthens when they learn how to talk. That's just the way that is. All of these people who claim to love dogs, they're liars, in my opinion. In my opinion, they are pretending because it has been made into a trend. That's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to pretend. That's why they go overboard. That's why they bend over backwards and behave in a very dangerous manner. It's all pretend. they don't have any genuine reasons to love dogs. Dogs are unaffectionate on top of that. Nature has put too many barriers between humans and dogs for them to love, or should I say for the human to truly love the dog. There are too many barriers. You have the language barrier. Mutts always barking, disruptive barking. Barking really drives people crazy. They don't use language. They just bark, grunt, sit around looking dumb, stinking. That's another problem. These things stink. They have a natural stench. That's a barrier nature put in between humans and dogs. Really, all animals, but dogs stink like no other animal. The triggers for violence, much different with dogs. Dog triggers are much different compared to all other wild animals of the earth. If there's any animal that you're incapable of loving, it is dogs. They will attack you for making a sound, moving too fast, simply for being present. They literally will lay eyes on you, on a child, and decide to attack. Has nothing to do with fear, has nothing to do with anxiety. It has to do with the dog's natural urge to kill, to dominate, to intimidate. That's the type of creatures they are. They live to do one thing outside of eating, and that is to attack. And that makes them absolutely worthless and incapable of being loved by a human being. It is all pretend. This obsession for food is a barrier between dogs and humans, and it's serious. Look no further than how a dog will lose its fear of what it saw as a threat in the presence of food compared to how humans will lose their appetite in the presence of what they see as a threat. Last but not least, the parasites, germs, viruses, bacteria, rabies. How many of y'all heard about the rabies incident? I think it was in Alabama. Why are dogs still popping up with rabies? They claim, oh, rabies comes from raccoons and all these other animals. I don't know about that. Dogs have to always get rabies shots. Why? Isn't that like a disease that you can run out of an animal population? I mean, to me, it seems like rabies is a naturally occurring thing in dogs, just like parasites. These nasty mutts are born with parasites. They're born with parasites. The most disgusting thing in the world. You can find many sources where they admit, they say virtually all dogs are born with parasites, particularly roundworms. This is nasty, disgusting, and it is a natural barrier between humans and dogs. Humans really should reject dogs, and only dogs, as animals that we are willing to share this planet with. So it's all pretend, and I'm not exaggerating. There are countless articles that have been written over the years. Articles, forums, people have been talking about this left and right, talking about how people pretend to love all the time. This is nothing new. This is not anti-dog nut propaganda. Dog nutters, don't even try it. The articles are everywhere. Look at this. 18 unfortunate signs she is only pretending to love you. Y'all go check out some of this. Just Google pretend to love. You will get several very interesting results. I will always pretend to love you. Interesting articles. Very interesting. People pretend to love all the time. All the time. 12 reasons on why someone would pretend to love you. Very interesting stuff, man. Very interesting stuff. There are many reasons why someone would pretend to love you. Blah, blah, blah. Someone pretends. It always means, look at this. When someone pretends to love you, it always means there is a hidden motive. Therefore, you must be careful, because there is never a good intention when someone pretends to love you. A partner will only do this to get something in return or exhibit a personal vendetta on you or someone else. Now, the acceptance into this dog nutter culture is what these people get. They get the likes on Facebook. They get the camaraderie. They get to feel like they're a part of a group, a predominant group. They feel special. It's a way for them to add meaning or to feel like their life has meaning and that they value something. This is a big thing. People want to find something that they're passionate about and that they value. My thing is, why not be passionate about something that is productive, that is positive, that actually saves lives rather than ruin lives and literally take lives? Right? If you want to be passionate about something, be passionate about being anti-dog. That would make more sense. And when you do that, you're making the world a better place. Why gravitate towards the negative, towards evil? I would never wrap my head around that one. I use a lot of stuff from Quora because this is where real people get together and have real discussions. This is not an article from some lone journalist. This is people having a discussion. Someone makes a topic. How can you know when someone is pretending to love you? And they got 26 answers. This is common. People do this. It's so common. Look at this. Anytime you're able to take a screenshot from Google where every single article, every single result pertains to the topic at hand. And by the way, I took this screenshot from page 2. This is the second page. And every single article pertains to this. How to pretend to be in love with someone. 17 obvious signs she is pretending to love you. Why would someone pretend to love you? 20 eye-opening signs he pretends to love you. 13 brutal signs your man is pretending to love you. This is the norm. And they do this with dogs. If it's so easy for people to pretend to love other human beings, rest assured, they can pretend to love dogs. The presence of dogs, in other words, makes humans very, very dysfunctional. It hurts humans. It thwarts our evolution. Crazy stuff. 7 steps to understanding the importance of communication. Now, I went over this before several times. I've talked about the importance of communication in relationships. And so I just took one as an example. It helps to grow love between partners, right? And that's self-explanatory for the most part. So dog nuts, do you really expect people, logical people, to believe that you love your dogs? Forget about the dogs loving you. Forget about that. Not only do I say the dogs don't love you. They can't love you. It's impossible. You don't even love the dogs. You are just functioning on propaganda. You're brainwashed. You're looking for acceptance. You're looking for ways to deal with your feelings of insecurity. Quite often, it is the form of overcompensation, being a narcissist, and just going overboard with it. So I'm going to stand by this going forward, and I'm going to verbalize this. These people pretend. This corny, goofy dog love is too deranged and fake to not call out. It is absolutely cringe and face palm. 100%. Dog nuts, the longer you're under the microscope, the more we are going to expose you. And listen, I don't even take pleasure in that. I'd rather not do this because there are no dogs in society. I just prefer for there to not be any dogs in society. So you have forced our hand. All right? Now, this is unfortunate. Some of you may have seen this here recently. YouTube strikes again. Now let's talk about this briefly. Pitbull Victim Awareness uploaded a video, I think a day or two ago. It's titled, 6-year-old boy's life has been changed forever after a pit bull attacked him. His scalp was torn to the bone. His cheeks were ripped open. He lost both of his ears. YouTube not only disabled the comments, but it seems like they shadow banned the video because the views took forever to increase. Why do they do this? There's no perversion in these videos. It's not like they're showing kids in bikinis, posing in distasteful manners. What's the reason behind disabling comments on videos like this? Have y'all ever wondered that? Isn't that the most bizarre thing to do? If a video like this is going to spark discussion, it's going to be constructive. It will be mature. This is a serious topic. You're going to disable comments for videos like this? This is absurd. Now, I can't show the video on this live stream because they will probably disable comments for this live stream. And I do my best to avoid having that happen. So I will share that video with you all in the chat room here. It is getting crazy out here, people. It's getting crazy. Now, this particular story took place, and this is only 9 hours ago they uploaded this. Took place a while ago. You know, this channel, they're just trying to catch up. They're uploading all the content. And YouTube is all over their necks. It makes no sense. They are doing Pitbull Victim Awareness the same way they're doing my channel. Shadow ban. They're watching every upload. There are YouTube people who work for YouTube in the chat room right now. I can almost guarantee it. Sometimes I get stuff disabled and I get strikes while I'm doing the live stream. Some of you remember my live streams have been disabled while I was live streaming. So they are all over us. And it's unfortunate because this is a crazy story. So I hope people who watch that video, as a matter of fact, let me make a post about it because they disabled the comments. So now we can't even talk about it. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible, man. And it's not that bad of a video. Okay, so I just made a post in the community section to hopefully spark discussion. That is pathetic. Isn't it crazy? I swear I can't keep up with this nuttery. Yeah, lost both of his ears. And it's pretty common for dog attack victims to lose their ears because dogs go right after the face. Especially when they attack a child, they go right after the face. Isn't this more reason why they are pretending to love dogs? Dogs don't give you any reason to love them. They give you all the reason in the world to hate them. Which brings me to another point. Let me share my video here. I always prefer to use videos that have been uploaded by anti-dog platforms. This was uploaded by Chef Muttmeat. But I think there's like a media outlet version somewhere on YouTube. This happened not long ago, right? She uploaded this yesterday. And I think this only happened 2-3 days ago, right? You have to struggle to love these things.
Moments before this woman is attacked by 2 dogs, she's caught on surveillance video strolling past Union Marine in Eastlake.
This lady was just walking down the sidewalk, man.
Just 10 seconds later, she's back in frame. One of the 2 dogs grabs hold. We're not showing you her face to protect the victim, not showing you the full attack because it is graphic.
It's supposed to be a nice cruising Friday morning, and all of a sudden it went from a 2 to a 10 in an instant.
Jace Romine works nearby, heard the screams, and ran outside.
Right when I came outside the front doors there, saw our neighbor out here fighting off the dogs off of the lady that was walking, and we just started yelling and running towards her.
That neighbor is seen here. He's armed with a hammer, strikes the animals several times.
He didn't strike the animals. Excuse me, he didn't strike these mutants. He came up and struck the ground. Isn't that what he did? Now it looked like he might have threw something, but he picked the hammer right back up. Why he do that? Because he was scared. A big grown man.
The dogs off of
he walks up, this big, burly, masculine, testosterone-filled man with a hammer is so terrified, the best he could do is run up and strike the ground.
Neighbor out here fighting off.
Oh, that's real impressive there, buddy. Now, I commend him on at least doing that. And notice how as soon as someone stands up and shows that they're not afraid, this worthless mutt right here took off running. The worst thing you can do is run. Don't try to tell me that these things are so loved. You're pretending because you're brainwashed. You're trying to be a part of a cult. That's all it is. Now, the important thing about this story is, listen.
Ultimately getting the dogs to leave her alone. The entire attack lasting a grueling 37 seconds.
Lucky our neighbor heard what was going on.
Seattle police responded. Fire crews took the injured woman to Harborview, and one of the dogs caught on camera is seen here, standing with a woman presumed to be its owner. A Seattle animal shelter officer did respond and says the 2 dogs reportedly escaped from a nearby vehicle.
Now, this is what I want to touch on right here. Y'all heard that. They said the dogs escaped from a nearby vehicle. And how about that? There was an attempted murder. There was an actual assault that involved injuries, and the assault was attempted murder. And the dog gets off scot-free. The owner is sitting here on camera petting the same dog that attacked them. Are you kidding? That is a creature that deserves to be hated. And I cannot understand anybody who does not hate a violent creature like dogs. This is a real important point here because these things are said to have escaped out of a vehicle. People, look at how much we're terrorized. No matter where we go, grocery store, anywhere, you have to always be on the lookout of people who have dogs inside of vehicles. It's a shame that we have to do this. Anytime someone opens a door, you need to have your eyes glued to that open door because a dog could run out. There have been several stories where dogs have ran out of vehicles. Y'all remember it happened in front of Kroger's, a grocery store. Dog escaped out of a vehicle and darted right towards, started attacking someone's child, someone's daughter. Yeah, that is completely crazy. These people bringing dogs inside of vehicles, and these things are so violent, so dysfunctional, that they see people outside and decide to attack them. No matter how far away they are, it has nothing to do with being territorial or scared. If they're scared, they will stay inside the vehicle. I've seen scared dogs. There was one video where someone brought a dog into a zoo and they were around a male lion, and that dog, tail tucked, it didn't even look at that lion. It was scared to death. No barking, no nothing. That's how they behave when they are afraid. I can't believe we've let them run this game on us that dogs attack out of fear. A big, fat, bold-faced lie designed to protect the dogs.
Lasting a grueling 37 seconds.
Lucky our neighbor heard what was going on.
Seattle police responded. Fire crews took the injured woman to Harborview, and one of the dogs caught on camera is seen here, standing with a woman presumed to be its owner. A Seattle animal shelter officer did respond and says the two dogs reportedly escaped from a nearby vehicle. And tonight, we've learned both dogs have been returned to their owner under the condition they remain under quarantine for the next 10 days.
The dogs, under the condition that they remain in quarantine for 10 days. How much sense does that make? As if the dogs were attacked and they need to be quarantined to make sure they don't have an infection. What are you quarantining them for? They should be immediately euthanized. Even though we have this law or this practice of euthanizing dogs, it is not even utilized when it should be. Show the woman petting the dog on camera, and then they tell us nothing happened to them. They just got 10 days of quarantine. Like I said, they want these attacks to happen. They want attacks to happen. Anything that forces people to spend money, they want it to happen. There's someone somewhere getting rich off of it. How many people read about this story? Surfaced 2 days ago. These people were in bed and they woke up being attacked by an off-duty dog, a police dog. The dogs that are supposed to be most trained, disciplined. Only the best professionals train these things. They're specifically trained to obey orders and to attack on command only. Allegedly, right? Flies right in the face of these people who say, oh, a dog just needs proper training. Well, The best trainers in the world train these things, and they are always doing this. We always hear stories, there are plenty available right now online, of police dogs attacking their own trainers. Not even trainers, not even training will protect you from these worthless, brain-dead
A Carterville
mutants.
couple says they woke up to a dog attacking them in their home early yesterday morning.
Tonight, they say that dog wasn't some stray off of the street. News 3's Madeline Parker has more.
When Alexis Pennington and Justin Christensen went to sleep Sunday night, everything was normal. Now, there's a makeshift barricade blocking their back door.
Thursday morning at about 4:30 in the morning, we were both asleep in bed. I heard a little scurrying or something in the kitchen. It did get louder. I jumped out of bed to see what it was and saw a fairly large dog coming towards us.
They say the dog ran into their bedroom, where it began to attack Pennington, who was still under the blankets.
And I felt the clench of the jaw on my arm.
Okay, this mutt ran into the bedroom, got on the bed, and attacked a sleeping person. This is the creature they tell us is inherently good. And you know what's crazy? The people who say that the most are pit bull advocates. They're the main ones who say that these mutants are inherently good. That the behavior of something inherently good? See, it's stuff like this, the hypocrisy, the lies, the deceptions like this is what makes our message so powerful and irrefutable. It's irresistible. And it's only a matter of time before mainstream is forced to acknowledge this hypocrisy, the foolishness, and how dangerous this dog-loving culture is. It's dangerous. It literally destroys our society.
And I started to scream, and I tried to barricade myself under the covers.
Christensen was injured as he attempted to wrestle the dog away. A picture was knocked to the ground, and the dog's claws left marks on the doors.
Okay, man's best friend. Are y'all telling me this thing was acting out of fear? All you dog nuts, you behaviorists, you veterinarians, every piece of information you put out here in defense of dogs trying to defend why they attack, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to attack those talking points every opportunity I get, because everything you put out here is nonsense. And you all are making yourselves sound like idiots, like complete fools. You're making a mockery of your profession, of your livelihood. You can't ignore this. This worthless mutt was not attacking out of fear, and you know it. They attack what they see as most vulnerable targets most often.
But as Christensen tried to get the dog out, it kept going for Pennington.
I just felt hopeless and helpless, and I just felt like I didn't understand. It was dark, and it was morning, and I'm half asleep, and our room has turned into a nightmare.
Christensen wrangled the animal, threw it out.
Okay, she's terrified. This was a murder attempt. Let's not downplay this. See, these dog lovers, they try to downplay stuff like this. How many people read about that story where they make a joke out of this dog attack victim who said he wanted a penis extension? He's getting surgery to reattach his lips, and he said, oh, I'm going to ask for a penis extension as well. And they wrote an entire article about that, trying to take your attention, trying to downplay the seriousness of these attacks. They are committed to doing that.
Out the window, and the couple called the police.
Wait a minute, so he threw this mutt out of the window?
Christensen wrangled the animal, threw it out the window.
Oh, made it a point to refer to this thing as an animal. I told y'all people, this is very clever and deceptive propaganda here. They use the word animal when it's totally inappropriate. as if it's some unknown animal, as if they don't know exactly what it is. They only refuse to use the word dog when they are doing it on purpose. You know what kind of so-called animal this is, so call it what it is. No, they don't want to tarnish the image of dogs by doing that.
And the couple called the police. After seeking treatment for their injuries, the couple learned the dog was not a stray off the street.
We still thought it was just kind of a stray dog that came into the house. And when the cops came over, that's when they told us that it was a police dog and that they would help us out and handle this from here on out.
The dog was an off-duty canine for the Christopher Police Department. The department said in a statement that it is unknown whether it escaped or if it was intentionally let out by an unknown person. The incident is still under investigation.
What are they going to investigate? What is there to investigate? How deranged and brain dead the dog is? You're going to investigate why this thing is bloodthirsty and gets off on attacking just to attack? Stop with this investigation nonsense. Just absolute foolishness. There's nothing to investigate. You just need to exterminate dogs. Period.
The couple says they aren't trying to place blame. They just want answers.
So terrifying.
Stop with this stupid. Not trying to place blame. Why not? Is this not a time to blame somebody? When you're at home in your bed and now you're being attacked? Now you're facing a deadly threat? Are you kidding? If this is not a time to place blame on somebody, when is? Oh, a whole lot of people are responsible. Everybody, lawmakers, everybody involved in making these things legal, maintaining their presence in society. That is who is to blame.
I just want to know why that dog came after us.
Well, stop. Why it came after? Stop. It came after you because it's a dog. Capiche? It's a dog. And dogs are deranged, dysfunctional, abnormal mutants that need to be exterminated. Violent, bloodthirsty, dysfunctional, brain-dead mutants that need to be exterminated. That's why it attacked you.
And me, like that.
In Carterville, Madeline Parker.
You know, these people kill me acting like dogs got human personalities. And they're human. They're just like humans. And when they attack, oh, there's some mysterious reason why it did it. It must have been drugged up. Something must have been psychologically wrong with it. Oh, no, let's do an investigation. Stop. Stop. This only further makes us stupid. It only further makes human beings dumb and lowers our IQ and prevents us from evolving. This is an example of us not using intelligence. It ties right into everything I'm talking about when I talk about how they teach kids to be dumb and to work against their common sense by trying to condition them to view dogs as harmless. That is a way that you teach people, the next generation, to be dumb and to not use common sense, logic, and intelligence. Stop with the foolishness. It has been absolutely crazy here recently. And these people are so desperate to project dogs as lovable, harmless creatures that belong in society, and they make their desperation obvious, especially with stupid articles like this. Y'all notice how they make articles out of anything. Dogs' hilarious reaction to being beaten up by new puppy delights internet. You gonna write a whole flipping article about a puppy playing with its worthless, nasty parent. Good for nothing, worthless, mutant parent. They're desperate. This is all acts of desperation. Anything to keep the brainwashery alive. Oh, don't pay attention to these attacks, to these horrific stories. Oh, look at this. Look at how cute this puppy is. Don't you still like dogs? You still love dogs, right? Oh, you don't hate dogs, do you? This is an act of desperation, and it happens too often. Like, I can't keep up with it. This is that article that I was just talking about. Dog attack victim who had lips chewed off. Wait a minute, can y'all see this? Yeah, they had lips chewed off. Jokes that he'll ask surgeons for a penis extension. So they made this entire article about this joke. You know, he posted it on Facebook. He got a lot of laughs. So, let's focus on the humor so we can downplay the seriousness of the attack. Photos online of this guy, lips all torn to shreds, but they had to edit it out. This is irresponsible, and it is a way of practicing stupidity. It is putting unintelligent behavior on full display, embracing our regressiveness, our lack of evolution, embracing our lack of evolution. So facepalm, so degenerate. Look at how these dog nutters bend over backwards to put anything in the news. Anything. Just like this. Again, what I show in these Dog Nuttery series is always recent news. And yet another DA's office. Look, DA's office requests therapy dog to help traumatize witnesses. We've heard a lot about this. Why make an article about this? They made an article about a request. So what? Big deal. Whoop-de-doo. Good for you. They didn't even wait until it was approved. Oh, you made a request for a therapy dog? Oh, wow. This is so earth-shattering. Let's write articles about it. Anything regarding dogs to them is newsworthy. How pathetic is that? That is pathetic, people. Am I the only one that sees how pathetic that is? Yeah, I can't with these nuts. This is embarrassing, cringe-worthy, face-palm-worthy nuttery. And the arrogance of these people. Dogs have the ability to comfort a person as they relive their worst traumas. You're only talking about dog lovers. You're spitting in the face of people who are not dog people. You're totally disregarding them. That is totally unethical and unprofessional. You know, people, they are getting comfortable with being totally unprofessional, rude, disrespectful, and unethical. There are many people who have xenophobia, who are simply not dog people. This should be against all policy to usher and force dogs onto the general public. What is wrong with you lunatics? What is wrong with you lunatics? And the dog nutters themselves are so deranged that they will literally make things up. Like, they will make up stories just to have something to put in the news. How many of you read about this story? Another facepalm, cringe-worthy article. Now, I think there's actually a video on this. Yeah, here we go. All right, now brace yourself. As always, the dog nuttery is always cringe. Now, wait a minute. The title.
It's a strange encounter in the middle.
Y'all see that? Polk County woman wakes up to stranger's dog sleeping in her bed. Okay. Just woke up and there was a dog sleeping in her bed.
Middle of the night, A couple woke up during a thunderstorm to find a dog in bed with them that they had never seen before.
Yeah, take a look at this. CBS 46's Crystal Boyd talks to the family just north of Georgia and that Tennessee border about how they miraculously figured out how the dog actually got there.
And I said, "Hey, Julie, whose dog is this?"
Jimmy Johnson opened his eyes and didn't recognize the dog sleeping in their bed.
Stayed rolled over on my side of the bed, and he goes, no, it's not our dog.
A strange canine quietly coming into their house.
Okay. Now maybe this is true. Do you believe this? A strange dog just wandered into a home where other dogs are present? You know, dogs can smell other dogs. Okay.
Uninvited.
1, how did the dog get in my house? 2, we have 3 dogs, Jupiter, Hollis, and Zeppelin, and they bark at anything. A squirrel in the yard, a rabbit, a bird, they bark, and there was no noise.
But as the pair checked out the dog, it seemed harmless. They think the back door must have been left open on accident.
And it was through the power of...
It seemed harmless. And that's the whole gist of the story. Let's say it wasn't harmless. Let's say it was an all-out bloody attack. This would be a totally different news segment, wouldn't it? It would be filled with horror. Right? It would be terrible. So how dare you make some happy news report about something that could have potentially been terrifying, deadly? This is alarming. They should be talking about how this is dangerous. You could be in bed like this other woman was, and a dog come in and attack you. But no, because it didn't attack them. Oh, this is a sweet story. Oh, the love of a dog. They just want to cuddle and love you. Shut up. They just dumped this weirdo, cringe Dog Nuttery onto everybody. We are sick of it. Sick of it. You weirdos need to stop. This is the end days for you.
social media that the pair was able to reunite Nala with their owner.
This post on Facebook went viral, and sure enough, someone recognized Nala.
We got a Facebook message saying, hey, that's my dog. I'll be there in a few minutes. What's your address?
Johnson verified it was actually the woman's dog.
Nasty. Nasty. This is so embarrassing how we got people behaving like dogs, living like dogs, passing who knows how many viruses, bacteria, germs, infections to other humans, spreading an unknown number of diseases and infections into the human family, all because people want to live like a nasty dog. These filthy, disgusting mutants. There's nothing cute about this. This is unsanitary. This is nasty. That's all this is. Nasty and weird.
Asking for photos as proof.
And she sent me Christmas pictures and, all sorts of different photos with her dog.
She found out Nala traveled almost 2 miles, and the adventure eventually ended when Nala wanted some company.
As a matter of fact, I was still laying in the bed snuggling with Nala when her mom walked in the room.
And if it wasn't for the Facebook post, Julie and Jimmy say they would have had another dog as part of their family.
Oh boy. They put the spotlight on the most degenerate, backwards, unevolved, uncivilized members of society. That says a lot. And they do this constantly. It's one of the things I've always hated about hip-hop, about rap music. In the early days, rap music was about fun, being happy. it had nothing but positive messages. Having a good time, enjoying each other's company, nonviolence. But then here comes the Aleister Crowley crowd. Here comes the Satanist crowd, and infected an excellent art form with degeneracy. And they have made it a culture to keep the spotlight on the most dysfunctional degenerates in society. The same thing happens with this dog nuttery. And things like this can only happen if people sit back in silence. Right? That's why we are here. That's why we're here. That is our job. That is my job. That's my mission. These worthless, stupid articles that they make about dogs is never ending. Look at how worthless and pathetic this story is.
Talked about a month ago.
It surfaced. It was uploaded just 2 days ago.
About the Haven Animal Shelter's longest serving resident there. And tonight, after 7 years there, we can report that someone has finally taken a chance on Chance. After our story, applications came from all over the United States, but Chance was finally able to find a forever home with a viewer here in Lubbock. And KMAX Claudia Puente spoke with that family.
Chance's owners tell me they've already seen such a difference in her. She's more confident and playful, and while it isn't an easy journey to gain her trust, they're just happy to finally give her a home. The kennel that Chance has known for 7 years is finally empty after countless of messages and applications from all over the U.S.
When we got Riley's...
Okay, this is so pathetic. Even in articles or news segments where they're trying to project these things as loving, cuddling angels sent from heaven, they catch this mutt making threats. Thing sitting here just barking. Barking is nothing but threats.
Finally empty after countless of messages and applications from all over the U.S.
When we got Riley's application and we met him the first time, there was no doubt who she was going home with.
Chance was no longer being overlooked.
Immediately my heart just went out to her. I had recently lost a dog and I really wasn't ready, I guess, to adopt one right away. But as soon as seeing her...
Stop. This is so pathetic. A dog was in a shelter for 7 years and then it gets adopted. Let's do a story on that. Ooh, somebody adopted a dog. That's newsworthy? There ain't nothing newsworthy about that. And there ain't nothing cute about this. There ain't nothing cute about dogs. Dogs are not cute. They are unsightly, abnormal looking, goofy looking mutants. I don't care how many sweatshirts you put on these unsightly mutants. They will never look adorable, attractive, or cute.
I guess to adopt one right away. But as soon as seeing her photo and reading her story, I knew without a doubt I had to come see her.
And while it's not easy, Riley is ready to take on the journey with her.
You know what's so disgusting and pathetic and so animalistic and primitive and subhuman is that this desire of theirs to show love to a living being, it's almost always shown towards dogs rather than their own youth. This type of love, adoration, is sort of a pedagogical type of love, parental type of love. Oh, our babies, we love our sweet babies. All that energy is supposed to be directed towards your biological offspring, towards your own kind. As humans, the most intelligent creatures on the planet, that energy is designed to enhance the intelligence of the youth. And you wonder why we're so backwards and why we fail to evolve and instead regress. It's because you all are involved in some primitive, nasty, disgusting, subhuman behaviors. This is unacceptable. It needs to stop. It's cringe, nasty, weird, face palm. It is cringe worthy.
She did not want to see me. She ran right back into her kennel.
Goofy, you goofy weirdo. You're supposed to make stories about this when someone adopts a child. When a child has been at an adoption center, an orphanage for years, and someone finally adopts that child. That is what this energy is supposed to be used for. Not for the adoption of a worthless, good-for-nothing leech that does nothing but beg, and attack, and contaminate. I mean, isn't that crazy? At least the adoption of a child, you may benefit or contribute to the enhancement of society. A child grows up, becomes a doctor, a lawyer, a prominent figure, or even a hardworking, everyday citizen of society. That benefits society as a whole. Dogs do nothing but drain our resources and die without contributing anything but filth and attacks to society. And you numbnuts, you backwards, nasty, primitive beings, you want to focus all of your attention on these worthless mutants. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be embarrassed.
And did not want me to be around. She kept barking and, very shy, very timid.
Celebrating even the smallest of moments.
The highlight was just this past week when the first time she actually came up to me unprovoked. I didn't have to corner her. I didn't have to get down on my knees. She just walked right up to me and wanted to go outside and wanted to go play. That I didn't think I would see for at least 6 months.
And her owner says, don't be fooled by her shy demeanor.
She will definitely kind of strut around that.
This dude kisses. See, this subliminal zoophilia that they're pushing here should be seen as totally unacceptable, nasty. It should be seen as a violation to humanity, because that's what it is. That's what it is. Yes, you kissing that dog threatens my existence. You nasty nutters involved with the most filthy, disease-ridden creature on earth by far endangers my very existence, because you pass all that filth and nastiness through the human family, and you wonder why we always have these viruses and diseases popping up, these pandemics popping up out of nowhere. This is so infuriating.
House, she'll kind of prance around the backyard, stuff that I had never seen here or when I was spending one-on-one time with her. She has a very quirky personality. You just kind of have to give her an opportunity to let it out.
Hoping that everyone can take this as a lesson to give adoption a chance.
Every dog, especially ones like this, deserve an opportunity. You may just find your next best friend or your next member of your family. So just giving it a chance and
you may just find the next killer, the next mutilator of an infant. It is so subhuman how they ignore these attacks. How they ignore these attacks when they're talking about dogs, when dogs are the only creatures on this planet that attack babies, kids on a regular basis most of the time. When there's a dog attack, it's usually a child or baby. And these dog-like people think this is a sign of high morals. That's the killer part of it. These things don't deserve to be loved. The cops, they give us a perfect example of how to deal with these things. every day. If I'm not mistaken, cops...
Well, they just took down the tape.
There's a cop that shoots a dog every day in the United States, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they just took down the tape here on scene in Southwest Baltimore. But like you said, 2 officers are recovering, as is the dog, and 2 people are in custody. Take a look at this video we got a little bit earlier this evening when we first arrived to the scene. Since then, I've spoken with Detective Donnie Moses. He says this happened just before 8 p.m. Officers were responding to a domestic incident. When they arrived, they began the investigation, and that led to 2 arrests. Now, while doing so, they say that a dog escaped, and that dog attacked 2 officers. One, bitten in the leg, was sent to Mercy Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, while the other officer, he or she was bitten in the hand, and that officer remained on scene as part of the active investigation. That dog that you see in the video there was shot and was taken by animal control to an area hospital. Now, of course, I asked...
Oh, another dog shot by a cop. Y'all ever thought about that? Cops carry pepper spray. They carry stun guns. They carry batons. But when there's a dog attack, even before the dog attacks, the first thing cops usually go for is their gun. When reality strikes and they're forced to act, you don't have time to pretend and fake love, pretend to love dogs, pretend that they are a man's best friend. That could get you killed. It's go time now. Here's a mutt right in front of you charging at. What are you going to do? You going to stand and be a tree? What happened to all this be a tree, all this advice they give kids? Cops, why don't you just stand there? Be still, look away. Violence supposed to be the last resort, right? That's not what these cops do. They usually pull out their gun and shoot these good-for-nothing, worthless mutts, and that's exactly what they should do. Bravo. Now, when we want to talk about what we can do to protect ourselves from dog attacks, we need to exclusively talk about the same thing that cops do, and that is to put a few bullets into their faces. That's what we do. Only that will save lives. Now, I hope very much that during these times, I'm glad it didn't happen here, that nobody is hurt. A bullet could ricochet, go into the dog, bounce off of something, come out different direction, hit somebody. That's the worst part, but ultimately, we won't have to use guns at all if these things are banned, if they're exterminated. That is the goal.
Police, what led them to this area, the domestic incident, and this is what they had to say.
I can't get too much into details of, even the parties, the home, the family, they have rights. But we were here investigating a domestic dispute that ultimately escalated. And during that process is when the dog escaped, and that's when our officers were attacked.
Again, 2 officers and a dog recovering.
Okay. So was the dog afraid? I don't think so. Was it provoked? I don't think so. They say, oh, dogs are usually provoked. I don't think so. These are just violent, brain-dead mutants. It is as simple as that. We're dealing with a population of sociopaths. It's a scary world that we live in. These nutters are sociopaths, especially these owners of big, vicious dogs. They don't understand the difference between right and wrong, or at least they don't appear to. Brainwash themselves, have numbed themselves to what's right and what's wrong. These are a few signs of a person who is a sociopath. They don't respect the feelings and emotions of others. Can y'all see this? That is obvious. They don't. They're constantly lying. I mean, I can't even put it into words how they're constantly lying. Dogs are angels. They're family. They're man's best friend. Dogs attack out of fear. They're usually provoked. It is too many lies to keep up with. People, this is a cult of sociopaths. I mean, literally, I'm not exaggerating. Being callous, difficulty recognizing emotion, manipulation, arrogance. We all know this is a perfect description of dog nuttery. This entire dog love culture and dog lovers in general. Look at that. They included arrogance. Arrogance. Violating the rights of others through dishonest actions. People, we are talking about dog nutters here. That's what this is referring to. We're just now putting together the pieces of the puzzle. Unbelievable stuff. Look at this. Impulsiveness. I mean, you start to wonder, are they secretly, knowingly talking about dog lovers? That is how much these descriptions suit the dog nuttery. Impulsiveness. Look at this. Risk taking. People. Mic drop. Mic drop. Risk taking. Difficulty appreciating the negative aspects of their behavior. We are surrounded by sociopaths, by people who are absolutely crazy, completely out of their minds, and they are being thoroughly brainwashed to be this way. With every mutt that's brought into a school as a therapy mutt, they're putting in more effort to condition the future generations to be sociopaths than they ever have in the past. As bad as they are today, much of the modern dog nutters, they were not as conditioned as they are conditioning the current youth right now. So they're trying to make the future generation of dog nutters even more dangerous. Bigger psychopaths. And we have to be mindful of what we're dealing with. It's very serious stuff. Yeah, mutations, any animal that is like a group of mutants, it seemed like our responsibility to get rid of them. Quite often, it's the result of something that we did. That's part of our responsibility as the most intelligent beings. It would be unethical and inhumane to allow them to live with these problems, right? Reduce quality of life. I saw this one article. I think I saved it here. Where they have here it is right here. Speaking of mutations. Now, what's funny about this article is that it's a partial. It's actually just a tip of the iceberg. Here, let me share my screen here. I save so much stuff. Sometimes I forget what I save. Every time I do these live streams, there's a lot of stuff I don't even cover. I don't even go over. It's not enough time. But this is an article that I ran into that surfaced 2 days ago. Common health problems for popular dog breeds. Okay, they actually made an attempt to go there. Now, you make an article like this, you're going to have a whole lot of things to talk about. But they just conveniently chose a few. Hip dysplasia, eye conditions. People, this is all the result of dogs being mutants. Eye conditions, elbow dysplasia, heart disease. What? Heart disease? Ear conditions, spinal conditions, respiratory conditions, skin conditions, joint inflammation, epilepsy. What are we talking about here? We're not talking about no normal animal. Technically, yes, they're animals. They're non-human animals. But these are mutants. Mutants that should have never been created. Dogs are man's worst mistake. They are man's greatest mistake. It is pretty pathetic. This is very serious stuff. Now, in the members area, I'm going to go over a video, a very serious video. And it may take a little bit of time. But I don't know how many of you are aware. Dogs originally were really used against slaves and black people, free black, even after slavery. And I'm going to go over this documentary where they discuss this. It's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about eradicating these good-for-nothing mutants. But dog lovers are heartless. And what they do is they look for any reason to have dogs. And in the bottom of their heart, they enjoy the danger involved. They enjoy the damage dogs are capable of inflicting. It's so bad that now that they don't have slaves to terrorize, they would have dogs on plantations. At certain points in history, dogs were exclusively used to hunt down and attack black people. Just Google train dog to attack black people. So now that we don't live in an era like that, guess who the new main targets or victims of dog attacks are? It is these same people's children. Now, instead of black people being the primary victims of dog attacks, it is the very children, babies of the owners. That is how much of a lunatic, that is how big of lunatics these people are. It transcends beyond racial boundaries. You know, a lot of black people mistakenly take it personally. No, these are a group of lunatics who will endanger even their own kids. It's almost exclusive now. The primary victim is the babies, kids in these people's homes. We're dealing with a very, very sick, evil, demonic culture right here. And we will destroy it. We will destroy it. Something this out of line, something this absurd cannot stand the test of time. It cannot, and it will not. Oh my goodness. Time flies. Big shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this Sunday's sermon. Yes. Yeah, we're dealing with terrorists. Dogs are terrorists. In turn, that makes the dog owners terrorists. This is what I'm saying. The dog owners are terrorists as well. It's unbelievable how these things are legal to own, are embraced by mainstream society the way that they are. It's unbelievable. Juliana, oh my. Yeah, it's getting bad in Australia. The postal workers in Australia, it's getting bad everywhere. It's getting worse and worse everywhere. And people, just keep in mind, just remember, all of these different places where dog attacks is getting worse and worse and worse, including here in the United States, everywhere around the world, dog attacks are getting worse and worse. Notice how it coincides with dog love getting worse and worse, or growing. It coincides with the increased amount of nuttery, of people heaping praises onto dogs. The more they do that, the more they push adoptions, the more they talk about how wonderful dogs are and get those dogs into people's homes. Well, surprise. Dog attacks are on the rise. It's because these things are not man's best friend. They are man's worst enemy. They are more than deserving. They are basically begging to be exterminated. One day it will happen. There's just absolutely no use, no logical reason for us to maintain the existence of these predators. Big shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this live stream. Big shout out to Gling. Gling is not well. It always pains me to hear about people and their health conditions. Been a lot of unfortunate deaths here in 2022. Hope you all do your best to take care of yourself, as will I. And hopefully I will see you all in good health on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.